Merry Christmas, Grandma and Grandpa. Congratulations, you are now the proud owners of a brand new iPad Air 2. I'm going to give you several tips and tricks on how to use your iPad to its fullest potential. I figured it was probably best to make a video so that you can refer back to it once all the techies are gone. Enjoy!
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
3 very important things came in that beautiful white box you opened this morning. The first is your iPad Air 2. The second is the lightning pin charger, which you'll notice is a little bit different from the charger you use for your iPod. It will charge your iPad when it's connected to a computer, or the third thing in the box, which was the wall charger.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
Okay, so your iPad is basically a bigger version of Grandpa's iPod, but with a few updates and additions to it. Right now I'm going to talk to you about the hardware. So the top front here is a camera, which you can use to record video or take pictures. You can also use it to Skype or FaceTime, which is Apple's version of Skype. There's a camera on the back right, which will also do the same things. At the top right of your iPad is the sleep-wake button. If you hold that down for a few seconds, then it will turn the iPad completely off. I don't want to do that right now, so I'm going to hit cancel. Once the iPad is off, if you hold it down again, then the iPad will come back on. At the top left of the iPad is a headphone jack. And on the right of your iPad are the volume controls. At the bottom here is the home button, which will take you back to the home screen at any time. It will also activate Siri, and you can unlock your iPad via fingerprint this way, as I just did. You can add up to 5 fingerprints on that. At the bottom are speakers as well as the port for the lightning bolt charger.
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
So now I'm going to talk to you about several controls you have of your iPad. So if you swipe up from the bottom, you have this bar right here, which has the airplane mode setting, which will turn off all wireless signals, including Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Next to it is Wi-Fi, which will turn off and on Wi-Fi. Right next to that is Bluetooth. And then this is a handy button. I use this one a lot. It is the Do Not Disturb mode. So any notifications that you get, nothing will make a sound, nothing will pop up. It's kind of like you won't know there's a message until you go look for one. Next to that is the silent button, which will turn everything on to silent. It's kind of like the Do Not Disturb, but in the silent mode, the notifications will show up. They just won't make a sound. And then at the end here is the lock mode. So I don't have it on right now, so if I switch my iPad and rotate it this way, it should rotate. There we go. Once I exit out of that bar at the bottom, it rotated again. But I rotated it back that way, and if I turn that on and pull this back down, it won't move. So it'll stay vertically. So I'm going to pull that back up. Here you have volume controls for your music, any music you're listening to, as well as you can go backwards and forwards and pause music. Here is a shortcut to the timer and a shortcut to the camera, and you can control the brightness right here. And so I'm done with that. I'm going to swipe that down. If I swipe down from the top, you have this bar, which controls several notifications. You have, which you can turn these all on and off, but I have my calendar on, as well as the weather. It says that I don't have any events planned for today or tomorrow, which is rare. And right now we're on the today view, but if you hit notifications, it shows any notifications you have right here, and you can scroll up and down. And then once you're tired of looking at notifications, you can exit out of them right here. And if you swipe back up, all that goes away. And that's all for the hidden features part.
It's the little Saint Nick. It's the little Saint Nick.
So now I'm going to highlight several important features in the Settings app. So the Settings app is this gray one right here with the gears on it. So I'm just going to talk you through this one, because there's a lot in there. Airplane mode, as I said earlier, is what turns off all connections to the outside world, so no Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. The Wi-Fi tab, it's where you connect to any Wi-Fi networks. Bluetooth, if you want to connect to a Bluetooth device, such as speakers or maybe your car. The Notifications tab controls the notifications seen when you scroll down or pull down from the top of the screen, whereas the control center is what is at the bottom of the screen when you scroll up. The do not disturb is what I also referenced earlier. It's when nothing makes a sound or pops up, like I said. If you won't know you have a notification until you look for it. The the general tab has a lot in there. The about will contain all the information about the logistics of your iPad, such as the name, as well as songs, videos, how many apps you have, as well as the amount of storage left on your iPad. The auto lock feature determines how, like, if you leave your screen on, how soon it will go into auto lock, so how often it will turn off. You have your date and time settings, as well as any keyboards. You can add emojis. I'll have Rachel show you how to do that one. Under display and brightness, you just edit how bright you want the screen to be. Oh, you can also increase the text size. So I know you guys probably want the biggest one, so you just scroll over that way under text size, or to the right, I guess, on text size. Any wallpapers you want changed, you can change under wallpapers, or you can go into your Photos app and do it from there. The sounds controls any sounds that you hear, any alerts, so you can choose what you want to hear for what alert. Now the Touch ID and passcode is where the fingerprint scanner comes in, so you can add your fingerprints on here. It's pretty simple, it's just an add fingerprint, and then you follow the instructions on the screen. And you can also turn a number passcode or a letter passcode on, and you don't even have to use the fingerprint passcode or any passcode if you don't want to. It's completely up to you. Now, when you first get your iPad, you're going to want to sign in to your Apple ID so you can set up iCloud, which is basically a backup storage device. So, like, if you need to get a new iPad for some reason, everything will be in the cloud so that everything will download back onto your iPad once you get a new one. It's just kind of a just-in-case thing. And all the rest of the settings are pretty much self-explanatory. It kind of depends on what apps you want. You can customize pretty much everything on here. And yeah, that's a little look at the settings app on there. The most important app that comes preloaded onto your iPad is the App Store app. It gives you access to hundreds of thousands of apps at the tips of your fingers. Once you sign into your Apple ID, you'll be able to purchase or download for free any apps you wish. So right now I'm going to give you a little walkthrough of the App Store app. At the bottom here, we have the Featured tab. So any apps where the developers pay to be on the first page are located there. Second are the top charts. So people go and rate apps, and you can go check out which ones are the most popular. Next is the Explore tab. So if you just want to play around and kind of scroll through the App Store, you can do that there. Next up are the purchased apps. So any apps you've downloaded or purchased, whatever, are located here. And the last is the Updates tab. So I don't have any updates right now, but if I did, it would say Update All right here. I usually use that, or you can turn your automatic updates on in your Settings app, which means that anytime an app update is available, it'll automatically go through, so you won't have to press any buttons or do it manually. Up here is a Search tab, where so if you know a specific app that you would like to use, then you can find it via the search key. Now, as far as apps go, I recommend the Yahoo Weather, because iPads, for some reason, do not come preloaded with a weather app. There's also a Facebook app, and I use Solitaire a lot. There are millions of games on there that I'm sure Grandpa will have fun with. Also, there are other browser options, so if you don't want to use Safari, there is Chrome and Firefox and others. Whichever one is your preference, you can find the app for it. There's also an app for Netflix and Chromecast, so if you guys got your Chromecast figured out, then you can cast it from your iPad now, which is pretty easy. And as far as apps goes, that's pretty much it.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, riding down Santa Claus Lane.
Siri, how many miles is it to the moon?
Okay, give me a moment. The answer is about 226,750 miles.
She also gave me the conversion of that into kilometers and meters. And she can do other things like, hey Siri, set an alarm for 9 o'clock a.m. tomorrow.
Okay, I set an alarm for 9 a.m.
Text my mom telling her I love her.
Ready to send it?
Send.
Done.
Thanks, Siri.
Your satisfaction is all the thanks I need.
She's great. So basically, there are several settings that you can access for Siri, and you can find those under the Settings tab right here. Click on it. And you can find that under General, and then you just click on Siri. But you can turn her off and on. And you can also turn off and on Hey Siri, which you just say Hey Siri, and she will respond without you pressing the home button. You can change the language of her as well as the gender. I keep it on female just because the male's a little creepy, but I mean, whatever floats your boat. You can also change voice feedback, so if you don't want her to talk back to you, she doesn't have to. And you can edit your info for her, so you can have everything personalized according to you. So mine is Amanda Williams. And so I can say, hey Siri, take me home.
Getting directions to home.
And so she'll open the map app up, and then she'll come up with a route up to northern Kentucky, which is pretty cool. And she also tells me it's about 1,060 miles, and it would take about 14 hours and 59 minutes to drive that. And if you get really, really bored, the nice thing is that Siri can also be your friend. Hey Siri, how are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color is, well, I don't know how to say it in your language. It's sort of greenish, but with more dimensions.
Please sing me a song.
I'd rather not.
She's very temperamental. Sometimes you can get her to sing, other times she just is not having it. But yeah, I highly recommend you guys get to use Siri because she's very useful. It's very easy to use. You just speak for it, so it's basically like voice control for your iPad. It's personalized. And yeah, so use it whenever you can. I highly suggest it. Well, that's all I have for you guys. I wanted to wish you Merry Christmas again, and I hope you had a wonderful day filled with lots of excitement and family and good food. I hope you guys enjoy your new iPad, and if you have any questions or need help with anything, just remember I'm only a FaceTime or iMessage away.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer walking home from our house Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as Santa, but as for me and Grandpa, we believe.
Please sing for me.
Okay, if you insist. I could while away the hours, conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain. And my head I'd be scratching, while my thoughts were busy hatching, if I only had a, hey, wait a second,